The fire engine lights were still flashing when Captain Daniel Carter, a 42-year-old firefighter with graying temples and tired eyes, stepped away from the chaos. Smoke hung in the cold evening air of Cleveland, Ohio, mixing with the sound of sirens and distant traffic. The fire had been small, an abandoned warehouse, no injuries, but something across the street pulled Daniel's attention more than the flames ever could. On a cracked concrete sidewalk sat a homeless man, wrapped in a thin, dirty blanket. He looked to be in his late 50s, beard untrimmed, hands trembling slightly as he held a paper cup of coffee someone had given him. His eyes weren't watching the fire. They were fixed on the firefighters themselves. Most people walked past him. Some stared. No one stopped. Daniel didn't know why, but he felt his feet move before his mind caught up. He took off his helmet, set it down beside him, and slowly sat on the curb, right next to the homeless man. Other firefighters noticed. A few exchanged confused looks. This wasn't standard procedure. "Hey," Daniel said quietly. "Mind if I sit?" The man looked startled, then nodded. "Free country, I guess." They sat in silence for a moment. Sirens faded. Snowflakes began to fall. "My name's Daniel," the firefighter said. "What's yours?" The man hesitated. "Robert." "Most folks don't ask." Daniel smiled gently. "Most folks miss a lot." Robert let out a dry laugh. "Yeah. They sure do." What no one around them knew was that this simple conversation was about to uncover a past buried under years of pain, regret, and survival. Robert had once lived a life not so different from Daniel's. He talked slowly, carefully, as if each word cost him something. He had been a construction foreman. Married. 2 kids. A small house in a quiet neighborhood. Then came the accident, a fall from scaffolding that shattered his leg and ended his career. Painkillers followed. Depression followed that. His wife tried to hold things together, but bills piled up, arguments grew louder, and one day she took the kids and left. "I lost my house after that," Robert said, staring at the ground. "Then my pride. Then, everything else." Daniel listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't offer quick solutions or empty sympathy. He just stayed. That was the part no one expected. As the cold deepened, Daniel stood up and took off his heavy fire jacket. He draped it over Robert's shoulders. "Hey, you don't have to," Robert began. "I know," Daniel said. "But I want to." A bystander snapped a photo. Within hours, it would spread across social media, a firefighter sitting with a homeless man. But the photo didn't capture the most important part, the connection forming between 2 strangers. Before leaving, Daniel wrote something on a scrap of paper and handed it to Robert. "That's the station number. Ask for me tomorrow morning. I can't promise miracles, but I can promise I'll try." Robert looked at the paper like it might disappear. "Why?" he asked. "Why do you care?" Daniel paused. His voice softened. "Because a long time ago, someone sat with me when I felt invisible. I never forgot that." The next morning, Robert stood outside Station 17, fire jacket still wrapped around him. He almost turned away twice before walking in. Daniel kept his word. He helped Robert get a hot shower at the station. A clean set of donated clothes. Breakfast. Then came phone calls, shelters, veterans assistance programs, rehab centers. It wasn't fast. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks. Missed appointments. Old habits clawing back. But Daniel didn't give up. Weeks turned into months. Robert entered a recovery program. He started counseling. Slowly, his posture changed. His eyes lifted. His voice grew steadier. He found part-time work at a hardware store, sweeping floors at first, then helping customers. One afternoon, nearly a year later, Station 17 hosted a community open house. Kids climbed into fire trucks. Families laughed. The smell of barbecue filled the air. Daniel was flipping burgers when he felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned around and froze. Standing there was Robert, but not the man from the sidewalk. This Robert wore clean jeans, a button-down shirt, and a confident smile. His beard was trimmed. His eyes were bright. "I told you I'd be back," Robert said. Daniel pulled him into a hug without thinking. "You did all the hard work," Daniel said. Robert shook his head. "No. You reminded me I was still worth something." Then Robert reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded piece of fabric. Daniel recognized it instantly. His old fire jacket. "I kept it," Robert said. "Figured it deserved to come home." Around them, people watched, unaware they were witnessing the end of a story that began with a single decision to sit down instead of walk away. That photo from the sidewalk eventually went viral. But the real impact wasn't likes or shares. It was the message it carried: sometimes saving a life doesn't require sirens, ladders, or fire, it just requires presence. Daniel went back to work the next day, just another firefighter doing his job. Robert went back to his life, rebuilding piece by piece. Their paths crossed again from time to time, always with a handshake that turned into a hug. And somewhere in Cleveland, on a cold sidewalk, a bench now sits empty, not because people stopped noticing, but because one man chose to see another as human. If this story moved you even a little, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Because kindness like this deserves to spread, and the next life changed might be closer than you think.